Good morning, everyone. This is Denis, Daly and Sarah Bacaller calling from Australia with another recording for Voices of Calm. This morning, we'll be doing a section from The Songs of a Sentimental Bloke by C.J. Denis, which is a verse novel about a thug who becomes reformed, falls in love with a woman called Doreen, and they retire to the bush and live happily ever after. This little episode happens during their courtship, when Doreen and Bill decide to go and see a play. And the play, very appropriately, is about a story about two famous young lovers. Just one little anecdote. There's reference to Little Lon. Little Lon is short for Little Lonsdale Street, which is in the central business district of Melbourne, which at the time was a haunt of gangland members. It's now been much gentrified and is now part of the Greek quarter of Melbourne. Okay, so here it is, the play from Songs of a Sentimental Bloke by C.J. Denis.
What's in a name?
She says, and then she sighs and clasps her little hands and rolls her eyes.
A rose?
She says,
Be any other name, would smell the same. Oh, wherefore aren't you Romeo, young sir? Chuck your old plot and change your moniker.
Doreen and me, we been to see a show, the swell $2 touch, bong tong, you know. A chair apiece with velvet on the seat, a slap-up treat. The drama's writ be Shakespeare years ago, about a balmy goat called Romeo. Lady, beyond the moon I swear, says he, and then he climbs up on the balcony, and there they smooge a treat with pretty words like two lovebirds. I nudge Doreen. She whispers,
Ain't it grand?
her eyes is shining, and I squeeze her hand.
What's in a name?
She says, Struth, I don't know. Billo is just as good as Romeo. She may be Julie or Juliet. He loves her yet. If she's the tart he wants, then she's his queen. Names never count. But I like Doreen. A sweeter, dearer sound I never heard. There's music hangs around that little word. Doreen. But what was this I starts to say about the play? I'm off me beat. But when a bloke's in love, his thoughts turns her way like a omen dove. This Romeo, he's lurking with a crew, a dead tough crowd of crooks called Montague. His client's push, what's nicknamed Capulet, they has him set. Fair narks they are, just like them backstreet cliques, except they fights with skewers stead of bricks. What's in a name? What's in a string of words? They scraps in old Verona with their swords and never give a bloke a stray dog's chance. And that's romance. But when they deals it out with bricks and boots in Little Lon, they're low, degraded brutes. What's just plain stout with us, right here today, is valour. If you're fur enough away, sometime some writer bloke will do the trick with Ginger Mick of Spadger's Lane. He'll be a Romeo when he's been dead 500 years or so. Fair Juliet, she gives her boy the tip. Says she,
Don't sling that crowd of mine no lip, and if you run again a Capulet, just do a get.
he swears he's done with lash. He'll chuck it clean. Same as I done when I first met Doreen. They smooge some more at that. Oh, strike me blue. It'd give me joes to sit and watch them two. He'd break away and start to say goodbye, and then she'd sigh
Oh, Romeo!
and get a stranglehold and hang around him like she feared he'd bolt. Next day he words a gospel cove about a secret wedding, and they plan it out. He spouts a piece about how he's bewitched. Then they get itched. And here's the place where I forget the pip. She is for keeps, and yet he lets her slip. But he makes me sick. A fair gazob. He's just the glassy on the soulful sob. He'll sigh and spruik and owl a lovesick vow, the silly cow. But when he's got her, spliced and on the straight, he crills the pitch and tries to kid it's fate. Fate, me foot. Instead of sloping soon as he was wed off on his honeymoon, him and his cobber, called Mick Curio, they have to go and mix it with that push of Capulets. They looks for trouble, and it's what they gets. A tug named Tieball, cousin to the skirt, sprags him and makes a start to sling off dirt. Next minute, it's a real old ding-dong go, half round or so. Mick Curio, he gets it in the neck. "Oh, rats," he says, and passes in his cheque. Quite natural, Romeo gets wet as hell. "It's me or you," he howls, and with a yell, plunks Tieball through the gizzard with his sword. Oh, how I encored. "Put in the boot," I says, "put in the boot,"
Hush!
says Doreen. "Shame," says some silly coot. Then Romeo, he don't know what to do. The cops gets busy, like they always do, and nose around till he gets blue funk and does a bunk. They want his tart to wed some other guy.
Strike!
She says,
I wish that I could die.
"Now, this here gospel bloke's a fair shrewd head." Says he, "I'll dope you, so they'll think you're dead." I tips he was a cunning sort, what knew a thing or two. She takes his knockout drops up in her room. They think she's snuffed and plant her in a tomb. Then things gets mixed a treat and starts to whirl. Here's Romeo comes back and finds his girl tucked up in her little coffin, cold and stiff. And in a jiff he swallows Lysol, throws a fancy fit, head over turkey, and his soul has flit. Then Juliet wakes up and sees him there, turns on the waterworks and tears her hair.
Dear love,
She says,
I cannot live alone.
and with a moan, she grabs his pocket knife and ends her cares.
Peanuts or lollies?
Says a boy upstairs. The end. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed that. A new look at an old favourite, Romeo and Juliet.